Hey guys, and welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Christia Parker. Now joining me in the studio is Patricia and Smith-Thurman of 10th Street Gallery. How are you guys doing?
Real good.
It's a great day.
Thank you for being here today.
Welcome.
Now we wanted to talk about artistry. Solomon, you're an artist. Tell us about how you got started.
Well, I started many years ago, during my teens, and been working at it ever since. We're talking about 30, 40 years of practicing art.
Awesome. What kind of art do you do?
Well, I specialize in pen and ink and also acrylic and watercolor, most of the wet mediums, but I dab in sculpture every once in a while.
Great. Now you guys have just opened up a gallery. Mrs. Thurman, tell us how this started.
It's a long story, so I know you only have less than an hour here. But we actually got started. We lived in Canada several years ago, and when Solomon was there, he actually launched a co-op artist group, and we always talked about doing something in St. Louis. And of course, that was many years ago, and we finally decided, after I retired from MasterCard last year, to give it a go. And we opened the gallery in September. And we have a very number of artists there, but it was really Solomon and his background that prompted me to go that route.
Great. Now, Solomon, I want to go back to your background a little bit. What motivates you, what inspires you to paint or to draw?
Well, most of the time I would think just life inspires me, and looking at other artists, and I love the immortality of the craft, so when you start looking at things like the masters and how their work is still being presented today, that intrigued me as a kid.
Right. Now I know that, tell us a little bit about this. We have some paintings.
This, okay, what you're looking at is Leroy, harmonica player, and that was my dad. He was a harmonica player and musician. So we're talking about the 40s, 50s, 60s when he was doing that, and he was very, very good. So I was inspired to do that as part of a blues collection. I did a series of paintings, about 40 paintings dealing with the history of pioneer bluesmen, and I consider my father one of those people.
That's awesome. How long did it take you to paint that?
Well, it's a process, and it took me approximately 2 weeks. So the application process requires drying time. So a lot of times you can't work on it continuously because of that.
Now, a lot of times writers of music say that sometimes they have writer's block, or writers of books and things like that. Is there such thing as like inspiration block, artistry block? Well,
I started this back in 60s, 70s, and I used to have that problem a lot. But once I went to school and defined what elements and principles were and got a good background in design, then I'm able to break out of any block that I'm in front of because I just revert back to my training.
Great. Now I know another tidbit about you, that you like to draw musicians while they are performing. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I love drawing musicians because they stay in one place pretty much, so that allows me a good half hour, 5 minutes, whatever, to get the drawing or get the illustration done. I used to do it when we were living in Canada. I used to ride the subway, and I did a series of sketches of people riding the subway. So I had 3 minutes between stops to get that illustration down. So I got pretty fast at it.
Wow. Patricia, talk to us about you said that there were a lot of different artists in the gallery.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that and how that works.
Well, one of the things I wanted to do is not just be totally just African American only. I think that St. Louis is a very multicultural environment, and I wanted to showcase that. We have Kababi, who of course is African American and is a great caricature artist. We also have Linda Jones, who is an up-and-coming artist. We have Carrie Gillen, who is a contemporary artist. So her works are one of the few contemporary works that we have there, as well as Linda. We have a guy who paints ties. His name is Chris Ananda. And we also have a priest, a minister, who does pen and ink. Wow. And he has an upcoming show later in November. So son Lance, I can't go without saying that, son photographer Lance Omar Thurman, Lance Omar Photography,
right,
is also, his work is also there. So it's a huge variety of work.
Right, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back. Artistry runs in the family, you guys. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more coming up with Patricia and Solomon after this. Remember to keep up with STL TV and all of the great events going on around St. Louis. You can friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, you can always catch us streaming live at stltv.net. We'll be right back after this. Hey guys, and welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Christia Parker. We've been here talking with Patricia and Solomon about their 10th Street Gallery, art gallery that's downtown, and a lot of the different works of art that are in there. And we've also been talking about how artistry runs in the family. Talk a little bit about the first painting that they're going to pull up. It's called, what's it entitled?
Oh, Living the Blues.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Well, Living the Blues is one of the paintings that I used as a model. My son, Lance Omar Thurman, is a photographer. He takes lots of pictures, and the pictures that intrigue me, I pull them out and do paintings from them, and actually use them as resource material. Oh, wow. So he took a picture of an alley, and then I incorporated a figure and a dog as part of the scene. And the picture that he took was in black and white, and I transposed it to color.
Wow, so you just imagine all those different colors that would probably be there.
Exactly.
Good. We're going to look at a couple more pictures, if we can pull some more pictures up, and you could talk a little about, there's tons of different artists that are in your gallery, and this one is Kababi. I recognize this one, right?
Right.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about Kababi's artwork?
Yeah, well, Kababi, he works in the caricature, and also, you know, he has his own specific style that he works from. And Kababi's been around, I met him maybe 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we got a chance to work out of a particular space on 1602 Locust Street, going back into the 90s.
Right.
So he's a great friend.
And this is?
This is Catherine Cheek. She is a neighbor who has been painting now for several years. She and her husband traveled the world, and this is actually from Buenos Aires.
Oh, wow. That is great. We'll do one more.
Okay, and this is Linda Jones, and Linda is a great up-and-coming artist. She's one of the individual artists who I helped work with back when I was teaching, and she took up the craft, and this is the work that she's producing now.
Right.
And this is Carrie Gillen. Carrie Gillen is someone I met through Wall Ball. It's one of Solomon's art events, and I was so impressed with her contemporary style that when we had our grand opening, I asked her to show this piece.
And I've seen this piece, and it's actually a 3D piece. It
Yes,
pops out.
multi-dimensional.
How did she do that?
It's fabric, and it's painted fabric, and this is something she's experimenting now with, sort of that raised level, and we're planning on showcasing some of her additional work in the spring.
Great. We have, this is the painted tie.
Yeah, and this is Chris Ananda. Chris Ananda is someone who works downtown, and he paints ties. He has the largest collection of painted ties, I think, in the area.
Great. Now, talk a little bit more about your gallery. What is your mission behind your gallery?
Well, it's twofold. We want to make a presence in St. Louis downtown. One of the things Solomon and I, we came to a conclusion that we wanted to stay here in St. Louis, and since we chose to stay here and live here, we wanted to invest here. And I've always been a art lover, so this is our way of giving back, and also having a place that other artists can come to and show their work.
Great. Now, I read something else that you maybe have an open mic night for poetry, and you're also going to give lessons. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, okay. Well, our one of our daughters happens to be Terry, is actually a poet, and so we're working now on a date. Now, we haven't come up with it yet, but she has a lot of experience in doing things like that. The other thing is Solomon is an art teacher, so we're looking at teaching classes on Saturday, mainly Saturday afternoon. And then the other thing we're doing is charity events. We're making our gallery available to some not-for-profits at a discount, and also we're looking at renting it out to do small events like wedding rehearsals or dinners, things like that.
Great. Now, where can people find more information about you guys?
Go to 10thstreetgallery.com, or you can call us at our gallery at 314-436-1806.
Great, great. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for joining. You guys, you have to check out 10th Street Gallery. Remember to keep up with STL TV and all of the great events going on around St. Louis. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always catch us streaming live at stltv.net. Coming up next, we're going to catch up with some skaters from the arch rival Roller Girls to talk to us about their next big event at the Chaffetz Arena. We'll be right back.